Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into all the drama unfolding over at Stellantis. You've sent in like a ton of Italian news articles.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, sounds like you all are really curious how this leadership shakeup could impact Italy, especially, with those big EV plans they've got.
Yeah, definitely a lot to unpack there.
Right. So, we're going to break it all down.
Yeah.
What's happening? Why should you care? And what does it all mean for, the future of cars?
It is a pivotal moment for sure. I mean, the entire industry is kind of like in this state of flux.
Total upheaval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stellantis is right in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. Front and center. Okay, so headlines are blaring. Tavares out, Elkan in. Did not see this coming. Carlos Tavares is out as CEO, just like that. And John Elkann, who was, chairman of the board, part of that powerful Agnelli family,
Right.
he's stepping in to lead. And, the market is freaking out. Stellantis stock plunged over 6% after the news broke.
Yes.
That's not nothing.
No, that's a major signal. Like a 6% drop, that shows, investors are nervous. Uncertainty. And with a company like Stellantis, I mean, think about it. They're juggling like everything. Global shift to electric, supply chain issues, pressure from governments, and now this sudden change at the top.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So officially, the company is saying this is all about, long-term focus. But these articles we've got, they hint at something. Something more, like some serious tension between Tavares and the Italian government. Is this like corporate PR spin, or is there actual fire behind all this smoke?
I think there's definitely more to the story. These articles suggest Tavares and the Italian government were really clashing over, how fast to transition to EVs and what that means for Italian manufacturing jobs and for Italy. This is high stakes. I mean, they're fiercely protective of their auto industry.
And
All those livelihoods, right?
for sure. And they're not just talking, they're taking action. Italy is putting the pressure on Stellantis big time, demanding they stick to this Piano Italia, which is, a plan to produce 1 million vehicles in Italy by 2030. This feels like more than a request.
Oh, absolutely. This is like a power move.
Yeah.
Italy's making it crystal clear they expect Stellantis to deliver, like specific demands, no wiggle room, revise those contracts so nobody loses their jobs, get that Tremoli Gigafactory back on track, and, secure the platform for a new city car.
Yeah.
Huge for Italian component suppliers.
They are not messing around.
Not all.
And you know what? It makes me think, if Italy can do this, what's to stop other countries from demanding the same thing?
That's exactly the point, right?
Right.
This isn't just an Italian issue. It's global. Governments everywhere are wrestling with this huge industrial transition. They want the benefits of EVs, of course, but they also have to think about jobs and, their own interests.
Absolutely. So where does the European Union fit into all of this? I mean, they're still pushing for a complete phase out of combustion engines by 2035, aren't they? But these articles we're looking at, they suggest maybe there's some flexibility there.
Yeah, there's this growing sense that maybe that 2035 deadline is too rigid. The EU is facing pushback from a number of member states, especially the ones with, powerful car industries. It's even talk of freezing fines for automakers who don't meet those emissions targets or, exploring alternative fuels, maybe even shifting focus to EV infrastructure, making sure it's all there, battery standardization, things like that.
So that's a pretty big shift in thinking. What's behind it? Is it just economics, or are there other factors at play?
It's a complex mix. There are legitimate concerns about what a fast transition would do to the economy. Jobs, competitiveness, all of that. Some argue Europe's moving too fast, maybe even giving an advantage to China, which is already killing it in the EV market.
Yeah.
And then there's the technology, right? I mean, in many parts of Europe, the infrastructure for EVs just isn't there yet. So there's this realization that this transition, it needs to be managed carefully. Avoid unintended consequences.
It's not just flipping a switch.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so Tavares is out. All eyes are on John Elkann now, and he is not wasting any time. He's already called Italy's Prime Minister Meloni and met with their Minister of Enterprises, trying to smooth things over. What's your take on Elkann's strategy here?
He is walking a tightrope. He has to reassure the Italian government that Stellantis is, committed to Italy, its workforce. But he also has to keep the company moving towards this electric future and answer to shareholders who want profits. It's delicate. His leadership style, it's going to be critical in all this.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about pressure. One of the articles quotes this Italian politician, Antonio Misiani. He's calling for Elkann to appear before Parliament, lay out Stellantis' plans. And he didn't hold back, saying the 2022 industrial plan crashed against the automotive crisis, highlighting a number of wrong choices.
Ooh, that's harsh. He's basically saying Stellantis is to blame for this whole mess.
Yeah, and he's not alone. A lot of the articles are saying the same thing, that like the industry as a whole, Stellantis included, just wasn't ready for how fast the market would change, and now they're playing catch up.
And it's not just about building electric cars, right? It's the whole ecosystem, batteries, charging stations, even having enough people who know how to build and fix this new tech.
Exactly. And that brings us to this big debate that's going on. Can the market handle this transition on its own, or does it need help from the government?
Yeah, one article pointed out that Italy's auto industry has always gotten a lot of support from the government, but is that sustainable?
It's a tough question.
Uh,
I mean, governments want to protect jobs, make sure their countries are competitive, but they also don't want to create companies that like rely on subsidies forever.
so it's a balancing act.
Right.
And it gets even trickier when you think about how global the auto industry is. Stellantis operates in tons of countries, so they're always making decisions about where to invest, where to build.
Which brings us back to the tension with Italy. They want guarantees, assurances that their factories will stay open, that they'll get a piece of the electric vehicle pie.
Right. But Stellantis also has to keep its shareholders happy and make smart decisions based on, like, the global market. It's complicated.
This is where Elkan's leadership is really going to be tested. Can he find that balance? Satisfy Italy without, messing up the company's future? The stakes are high, not just for Stellantis, but for the whole industry. Everyone's watching to see how this plays out.
It's easy to get caught up in the drama, the boardroom stuff, the politics. But there's a human element to this, too. One article talked about how buying a car used to be this big rite of passage. You turn 18, get your license, and you start dreaming about your own wheels.
Yeah, that symbol of freedom, independence. But the articles are saying that for younger people, especially in cities, it's just not like that anymore. They think about transportation completely differently.
Makes sense. Ride sharing, public transit, bikes, scooters. There are so many options now. Owning a car just isn't the necessity it used to be.
And that's a huge shift for the auto industry. If fewer people are buying cars, companies like Stellantis have to change. They can't just keep making the same old models.
So what are they doing? How do they stay relevant?
They're trying new things, new business models, subscriptions, mobility platforms, even working with tech companies. That old model of just selling cars, it's fading fast.
It's like they're being pulled in two directions. On the one hand, they have this whole legacy built around combustion engines, factories, workers, supply chains.
But they also have to jump into this new future, electric, connected, autonomous.
It's going to take guts and vision.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about China. They're already a powerhouse in the EV market, pouring money into production and innovation.
Which is making everyone nervous, right? There's this fear that China could take over the whole EV market and leave everyone else behind.
Yeah, some experts are calling for like protectionist measures, tariffs on Chinese EVs.
Yeah.
Others say the only way to compete is to innovate more, create a better environment for EV production here.
It's not just about technology anymore. It's geopolitical. Whoever wins this race is going to have a huge advantage in the 21st century.
And it connects to another debate that's coming up in these articles. Is the EU's aggressive timeline for ditching combustion engines, like backfiring on them?
Yeah, some people are saying that going so fast is hurting European car companies because it forces them to make huge investments before the market is ready. And they say it's giving China an advantage.
Right, exactly. They're suggesting a more gradual transition, like maybe focusing on making combustion engines cleaner, using alternative fuels, alongside the growth of EVs.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Right. Even with a rapid shift to EVs, we're still going to need combustion engines for things like big trucks and airplanes.
Yeah.
It's about finding the right mix.
It's clear that this isn't just about swapping out one kind of engine for another. It's about completely rethinking transportation. And the articles made a good point about public perception. A lot of people are still skeptical about EVs, worried about cost, practicality.
Those are valid concerns. If people aren't convinced that EVs are a good option, they're not going to buy them, and that slows down the whole transition.
So it's not enough to just build a better EV. You have to educate people, address their concerns, and make sure there are enough charging stations and everything. It's a big job.
Yeah, it requires a lot of coordination between governments, car companies, energy companies. It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity to create a transportation system that's more sustainable and fair for everyone.
These articles really paint a complex picture. The transition to electric vehicles is multifaceted. There are no easy answers, and the stakes are super high.
And that's what makes it so interesting. We're watching a fundamental shift in one of the world's most important industries. The decisions they're making now will shape the future for a long time.
And it all comes back to John Elkann and what's happening at Stellantis. He's leading a company that's trying to navigate these really rough waters, trying to balance the demands of the market, the expectations of governments, and the need to move toward a more sustainable future. It's a lot to think about, and I'm sure you're wondering what it all means for you. Like, even if you're not planning on buying a new car anytime soon, these changes, they're going to have a ripple effect.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This whole shift to EVs impacts everything. Jobs, how we get our energy, even like the raw materials we need for all those batteries. It's all connected.
And like these articles point out, there are some pretty big ethical and environmental questions we need to be asking. Like
Right.
where are all those materials for the batteries going to come from? What happens to all the people working in the old car industry as it shrinks?
Yeah. These are the tough conversations we need to have. As this transition happens, right, there are no easy answers. But the more we know, the better choices we can make. Choices that, reflect our values.
Yeah. Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you with this thought. Elkann's sudden takeover at Stellantis. It's kind of open to interpretation. Some people see it as like a power grab. The Agnelli family, they got a long history with Fiat.
Right.
So maybe this is a way for them to like reassert control.
Yeah, others see it as, a genuine effort to find a way through all these competing pressures. Shareholders, governments, workers, the whole environmental impact.
It's a huge turning point, not just for Stellantis, but for the entire industry. What path will Elkann choose? Can he steer Stellantis through all this? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll catch you next time.